My fellow veterans, distinguished guests, family and friends, aloha kakahiaka kako. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here and to see each and every one of you on this beautiful Kauaʻi day here in Hanapepe. As I look out to our flags honoring America's fallen heroes, I am reminded of how important this weekend is to those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And I'd like to give a special mahalo to the County of Kauaʻi Mayor Derek Kawakami and his team, the Kauaʻi Veterans Center under the command of General Mary K. Hertog, Captain Tim Young, and the team at the Pacific Missile Range Facility, the Waimea High School GROTC, the Sunset Swing Band for our music, and all the elected officials, the volunteers that took the time to be here today and whose tireless work and effort make this annual ceremony possible. As I look out into this audience, I see a broad spectrum of patriots, those that have served or are serving in our armed forces and our nation's wars, families that have lost a loved one, friends that have lost a friend, soldiers that have lost a fellow soldier. And so, my fellow veterans, service members, distinguished guests, mahalo for allowing me the opportunity and the privilege to deliver this keynote address to honor those who have sacrificed their lives while serving our grateful nation. On this Memorial Day weekend, it is important that we pause and remember to honor the sacrifices of the many for the freedoms that we all enjoy today. This year marks my 22nd year as a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force Hawaii Air National Guard. And up until last August, for all but 7 months of my entire military career, we have been a nation at war. I was in Air Force pilot training at Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi on September 11th, 2001. As I watched with my fellow Air Force pilot training cadets, terrorists attack our country and our American way of life. Little did I know, less than 3 years later, I would find myself flying combat missions in the mountains of Afghanistan, transporting weapons and supplies to our troops at forward operating bases, moving injured soldiers to the Army's hospital in Landstuhl, Germany, or bringing home caskets on a C-17, draped with the American flag to Dover Air Force Base at Delaware. I was just 30 years old, a young first lieutenant, and my life, like millions of lives across America, were changed forever. Through the course of my military career, I have always been drawn and held a keen interest in our nation's wars, her battlefields, great military leaders, and over that time, I have made it a point to visit these hallowed grounds so I could see and feel for myself what those brave men and women must have felt or saw themselves. I have visited the Ardennes forests of Germany, walked the Band of Brothers streets of Bastogne and Luxembourg, and stood at the site of the Malmedy massacre in Belgium. I've traveled to the great Pacific battlegrounds of Wake Island, Guam, Kwajalein, and Okinawa. And like many of you, I've been to the hallowed tomb of the USS Arizona, where 1,177 sailors lost their lives on that day of infamy, December 7th, 1941. Why would anyone go out of their way to visit museums, battlefields, and cemeteries of wars from years gone past? Why are they drawn to the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where the names of 58,000 Americans are etched into black granite at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. For many, they come to mourn the loss of a family member, a friend, a fellow soldier, airman, sailor, Marine, Coast Guardsman, or Merchant Marine. For others like myself, they visit these historic sites so as to gain a deeper connection to historical events that moved a nation and helped shape our world. However, no matter why they come, no matter what they hope to find, no matter what they aim to see, when they visit these great memorials, they are often humbled by the presence of those who are forever represented there. For those that have walked the somber grounds of Arlington or Punch Bowl, you will quickly gain a sense of the magnitude of our nation's loss while realizing the true commitment on the part of those who have served and died in our nation's conflicts. Throughout the course of our nation's history, our sons and daughters have donned the uniform. They have taken up arms and fought and died to preserve our rights and our freedoms. They were our nation's best and brightest, and we cannot help but mourn their passing as we celebrate their victories. From the birth of our nation, dating back to the American Revolution, families, friends, towns, and communities, just like here in Hanapepe today, have honored the fallen in their own way. It was not until after the Civil War that America began to collectively honor those that gave and sacrificed their all. Decoration Day, as it was called back then, was a day when the living decorated the graves of the fallen with flowers. In 1967, our country nationally recognized this day as Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, when we honor great examples of heroism, of self-sacrifice, and of patriotism. This morning, we honor the service and lives of our veterans from Kauaʻi who are laid to rest here today. Soldiers like Private First Class Clyde Cares from Kahele, who joined the United States Army in 1967, was a paratrooper, and fought and died through hostile action in Vietnam. He was just 19 years old and is laid to rest here. Or like Private First Class Gary Kawamura, who was an infantryman from Lihui, killed in action also in Vietnam. He was 23 years old. He is laid to rest here. Or Bunkichi Matsuyoshi and Larry Tatsumi Sakota, members of the United States Army's 100th Infantry Battalion, 442nd Regimental Combat Team, who fought in World War II. They are laid to rest here. Or William Fernandez, a U.S. Merchant Marine, who fought in World War II and went on to serve Kauaʻi and our state in various different ways. He is also laid to rest here. So this weekend and today, just as in years gone past, we decorate each memorial, each grave site with a flag, flowers, or a lei. We lower our flags to half-staff, and we pay tribute to those who gave their all in service to a grateful nation. The observance of their names, the acknowledgement of their contribution during their shortened lives, and the recognition of their sacrifice is the greatest honor we can give them. When we think about them, when we say their names, for a moment, they live again in our memories, in our imagination, and in our hearts, while stirring up our pride, our patriotism, and maybe a tear. As a remarkable sacrifice and their tremendous valor is etched in our memories, their lives live on forever. As I conclude my remarks here today, I'm reminded of Gettysburg, the sanctified grounds where thousands of our country's young men fought not a common enemy, but each other. And thousands perished on that day defending what they believed was the appropriate course for our young nation. In 10 short sentences, and less than 3 minutes, President Abraham Lincoln delivered one of the greatest speeches in American history, and I would like to end on a quote from that historic day. "It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth." May God bless the fallen. May God bless you all. May God bless the heroes that forever are laid to rest here at the Kauaʻi Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Hanapepe. And may God bless our United States and these special islands that we all call home. Mahalo.